Good morning and welcome back to Universal Studios Orlando. And we're here mainly for Horror Nights construction. So we're going to be heading in, talking about everything they've announced so far this year, everything to come to be announced, but also because they've been putting up a lot of Scare Zone props. So we're going to go check all those out. Today is currently Monday, July 28th, if you're wondering, time stamping this. It should have gone up like the day after I'm filming this. So in theory, this should be pretty new for you guys. All right, so quickly, I thought I would list off all the announcements for this year, including Scare Zones, houses, all that good stuff before we get started, just in case you've missed anything. House-wise, we know that we got Fallout, Gulkin, Monsters of the North, that is a North mythology house, Jason L. Artstria, please tell me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I need to figure out how to pronounce it. Hatchet and Chains, that was in Slaughter Cinema last year. There is Five Nights at Freddy's, Grave of Flesh, that is another original, Terrifier, Dolls Let's Play Dead, and then the only house that we have not gotten announced is the WWE house, but it seems like it is going to happen, and that's in my list of hype, so I'll actually put everything up on screen. What I'm most excited for, let me know what you're most excited for down below. Scare Zones are Mutations Toxic 20s. It's going to be similarly themed off of the Bugs house that we had not too long ago. Cat Lady of Crooked Lane, we're going to be checking that out because there's a lot set up for that house. Masquerade Dance with the Death, and then the Origins of Horror. Again, we're going to be checking all these out. There's a lot set up already for this year, so we'll be checking out all those. Shows, we did get announced Nightmare Fuel, Circus of Decay, so another circus theme, but it seems like it's going to be very different from last year that I'm glad to see. And then we did get announced that we are getting a new Fountain nighttime show. Could not be any more excited for this. It's called Hauntophonic, A Ghoulish Journey. If it's anything like the one we had before all the projection equipment broke, I would love to go see it. So, and then a little bit different this year. We only have 4 Scare Zones, but we're gonna have some street experiences. So right now we've announced Mel's Die-In Zombies, that are gonna be some zombies outside Mel's. Club Horror, don't really know about this. I think it said there was DJs. We don't even really know where this one is. And I've heard that there is a third one that has yet to be announced, but we'll just have to wait and see. So again, let me know what you're excited for. Again, I put my list of what I'm excited for up on the screen. So let's go check out some construction for Horror Nights. So as soon as you walk into Universal, usually for Horror Nights, there is that big scaffolding thing there for Scaremonies. I imagine that will still be there. I do not think that is being considered a Scare Zone this year. So it's gonna be maybe a street experience. Very glad they decided to just drop it as a Scare Zone if they didn't want to put the effort into it, just because it was not a Scare Zone last year. It was laughable how bad it was. So here's a look at the first Scare Zone. I believe this is going to be Masquerade or Origins of Horror. I think it's Origins because I think this is supposed to be kind of the intro Scare Zone, and it has kind of the Scare Zones, like each of the Scare Zones as props. So we got 2 massive gates along here. That is the entrance for this area. Again, correct me down below if you know exactly what this is. But again, I think it is Origins of Horror, but I could be wrong. So right here, we have our first stage that is Origins of Horror. That's the Scare Zone with Crow in the background. Again, we're probably gonna have some props in this. This reminds me a lot of, what was that, 2020, was that 2021 or 2022 when they had Jack's brother back here, Eddie, where he had its own like stages. That reminds me a lot of this. This is obviously Cat of Crooked Lane, so there's a big cat on the back. I really like the look of the stages too. I think they look pretty nice. I'm gonna say this is Masquerade right here with the gargoyle on the back, or that could be Origins. Again, I'm kind of hearing a lot of different things here and there about these Scare Zones, so we'll just have to wait until they officially announce things. But I imagine it's one of those two, Masquerade or Origin. It does look like they're all themed to the Scare Zone, so and then we got a big bat on this one. This is definitely the most unique looking stage so far. I don't know if the other ones are gonna have like railings at some point, but this one's the only one with like a full railing setup. So again, very curious to see what they do with this. I imagine there's gonna be one more gate thing on the other side that they just yet to put up yet. And obviously our most recent IP announcement is gonna be Terrifier. So they do have all the Terrifier merch out here right now. As you could probably tell from my my hype list, I'm not a huge Terrifier fan. I think what they've said about this house is very interesting. I don't love this shirt. I don't like collared shirts or ring shirts. I don't think they look good. But they have specified, oh, they do have the Jason shirts back in stock if you were looking for those, because I knew they sold out for a little bit. They have said a few things about the Terrifier house at a convention that I thought was very interesting. They actually specified that this is going to be like Dragons, so it's going to have two endings, but one is going to be like a dry ending, one's going to be wet. And it's seeming like they want to make this like the wettest ending of a house, or wettest like Halloween Horror Nights house with blood squirts. So that could be really interesting. Don't know how often I'll do it. If it ends up being really bad, I'll probably do it the first time just for the funniness of it. But again, if it ends up being really, really wet, probably not something I'm going to do every night. I will say I'm very interested to see what these street experiences do entail, because I'm curious to see if they just have them out here in like this walkway area in between the two scare zones, or if they do confine them to that back area where they usually have that bar seating and the photo ops over there. They do already have like screens up over there. We'll go check that out real quick before we head to Crooked Lane. But I'm very curious to see what they do here, if they end up confining them to this area where we're walking right now, or if they end up being more confined to a smaller area. I'm very interested. So plenty of light poles up over here. Again, this is normally a bar location. Looks like it is still gonna be. I'm not sure what these are over here. They look like screens that have yet to be installed, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay, so that's what they are. So it looks like they're coverings for TVs to be put. You can actually see a TV bracket and some cooling in there for weather, to make them weatherproof, you know. So they do have those two over here. Again, I don't think they'll combine the zombies to over here, just because I think it's a little tight. But again, I'm very curious to see if they let them roam around, almost like the roaming chainsaw hordes that used to be a big thing at HHN. Kind of let them move around freely in their area instead of confining them pretty hard to a scare zone or something like that. And once again, over here in Central Park, obviously we got that announcement of Hauntophonic at Ghoulish Journey. Again, I could not be any more excited for them to bring back a nighttime show. I've said this in the past, that the one that they had that was Ghoulish before it ended up getting damaged and then not run anymore was one of my favorite parts of Horror Nights that year. I just thought it was a fantastic show. It held the night together, it sucked up a lot of crowds, helped with dispersing them a little bit better. And I think that will help a lot again this year with it being such a crowded event last year. I'm hoping that this show can bring some cooling points where you can get into a house a little bit more easily instead of always having to wait like 50 minutes for each house. But again, Hauntophonic, I'm so excited for it to be over here in the park. And over here at Cafe La Bamba, obviously there's normally a cart right there. It looks like they have a little bar there right now, just temporarily. But again, this will be a dining location of some sort, food booth, stuff like that. You can actually see all the truss up with the lights already hanging around. So again, this will probably be another food booth like every other year. I know last year, I believe it was the one with the walking tacos. This is my second most anticipated scare zone over here is 9 Crooked Lane. That is gonna be like a cat lady themed scare zone. This looks very funky, but I'm very excited for it. So they have already started adding pumpkins up in the trees. I'll see if I can spot Little Boo. I don't know if he's up at it yet, but I would imagine he is gonna be eventually. So far this scare zone's looking pretty decent. I imagine it's gonna be very similar to the Trick or Treat scare zone that we had not too long ago, with the similar feel of like house entrances, and like, not like haunted house entrances, like actual house entrances. But they have lots of props already up, lots of like small town Halloween type props. And everything is very worn, so it's a very interesting vibe to it. Yeah, I'm not seeing Little Boo up here yet. I would be absolutely shocked if he does not show up at some point. But they don't have quite all the pumpkins up. They only have about 2 trees full of pumpkins. And I imagine they're gonna have about 6 in total at bare minimum, looking down the walkway here. So just have to wait and see. We'll, again, keep checking up at Universal every week or two before the event. It is only about a month away now. I do like all the cats like sitting up on the fences and stuff. Again, I'm very curious to see what this zone actually ends up being like when it's actually fully going. Just kind of the vibe and the theme, and I'm curious to see what all these will be for. Doubt these are scare platforms, but I imagine they'll have something on them because they look like they would just fit it. Lots of bikes and stuff along the walkway, but again, not much more in the scare zone right now, but I imagine there will be at some point. soon as you walk out of the Crooked Lane scare zone, I haven't seen anybody talk about this actually, so this must be a pretty new addition. They have props up over here in the in-between area. If you were like turning towards DreamWorks, this is all on the right. So it has like a walkway through the middle. I don't know if they're gonna have scare actors or something in here. This has a very look of the Origins of Horror kind of look, where it's like broken glass and stained glass all in here. It does look like there's actually lights beyond the stained glass that are pointing up, so these will probably glow pretty heavily at night. Again, I don't know what this is. This could be one of those street experiences we heard about, and it's just not quite fully ready yet. So again, very interesting. I didn't even know this was over here, but they also do have a stage here. It's a weird looking stage, I will say that. I'm not even sure what they will be using it for. That does look like a standing platform, but they do have a set of 3 trusses going in the middle, but then 1 higher up. So could just be for signage, but again, this is a very interesting look, and I do not know what this is for. Again, this very much could be one of the street experiences like Club Horror, but it doesn't really match that vibe, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is the unannounced street experience either. And let me know if you know anything that I don't know. So we're back over here now by Simpsons in kind of the exit area. You can see one of the facades going up for the house. Not sure which one. This could be a couple ones. It does look kind of like a house's exterior, not painted yet. This very much could be Dolls Let's Play Dead. That's probably my best guess right now. These are usually both originals back here, and these 2 sprung tents, obviously you can see both sprung tents are already up. So they are fully working on it. But again, I think this is going to be Dolls Let's Play Dead. Again, I'm not sure. Again, let me know. It's just a house facade with a very like kind of normal house looking finish. So again, I don't know what other house that could be. They are still working on redoing the bridge here in between both Potter and Simpsons. So I'm hoping this gets finished definitely before Horror Nights. They've got a little over a month again. But yeah, that will really hurt traffic flow if it ends up not being finished. Again, one of the house entrances were last year for these originals back here were over by Simpsons. And then another one was again back here. Or yeah, just one, I think. Was it 2? Kind of forgetting. But we'll definitely see at least 1 or 2. Yeah, usually 2 house entrances back here. We'll see 1 to the further tent or building through here, and then 1 back there on the right side of the restrooms. And as we head past Men in Black, we obviously do have 2 more house entrances over here by where Nightmare Fuel will be. We do know for sure, thanks to Buy Reconstruct, what these 2 houses are. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter. I want to thank him so much again for letting everybody use these pictures. It's very helpful. We know this is Fallout and Gulkin back here. So this is going to be a big section for me, because right now these are like the 2 houses I'm really excited for. So very curious to see what they end up doing. My one complaint is I really hope this doesn't become the norm. As you can see from the picture, as long as I found it, they're just using like a flat picture of the house, like the house announcement picture on the front, instead of giving us an actual facade. It does seem like these are the only 2 that are doing that, but again, I really hope this doesn't become the norm. I really like a facade for a house. I think it really, when you're in line, seeing that facade as you're walking towards it kind of continues to amp it up, and it always is such a great first set piece into the house. So having just the pictures like they did with the Monsters house last year, not a fan. So I really hope this doesn't become the norm. But again, right now, Fallout, Gulkin back here near Nightmare Fuel. So you can't quite see into there. I'm trying to do my best. The angles back here are really bad unless you have heavy zoom. You can see some circus stuff going on. Like we've seen before, there is Grim Reapers lining the stage right now. This is Circus of Decay for Nightmare Fuel. Again, that's our official announcement for this year. So again, gonna be a circus theme, but I am very curious to see what they do differently from last year. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be a time loop thing. Maybe it does. Again, I'm really hoping it's not. I really hope they continue to depart from the, let's just kind of rehash the same thing with a little bit of a different plot and different music and stuff, because I really liked last year. So I'm hoping they can one-up it. We'll just have to find out, see if they can do it. I know I've talked about this a lot in the past if you've been watching the update videos, but I really hope they get these bathrooms up before Horror Nights starts. This is the bathrooms basically for Horror Nights, because Nightmare Fuel's right there. These get used so much, and I really hope they get them done, because without them done, you're either walking all the way over to Men in Black or you're walking back into Potter. So it's a little bit more of a walk. And again, the line usually for Nightmare Trail walks all the way down this walkway here, all the way around here. So again, it's just a perfectly placed bathroom, so hopefully they can have it done before Horror Nights starts this year. So as you're passing Potter, normally back here near Pier 41 and the bakery, there usually is a bar, so I wouldn't be surprised if there ends up being one. There is one light trussed up right here right now, but this could be just general lighting. I thought maybe this is very much where the club, Scare Zone Club Horror would be, because it's kind of decently open, have a bar back here, you can have a couple DJs or just a DJ. It would definitely kind of fit this area. So again, not sure, but again, this is what I thought one of the street experiences would be back here is Club Horror. And as always here at the Fast and Furious exit, there is going to be a scare zone. Usually the house that is back here will shoot out right here too. That will be Jason for this year, we have learned. So it'll shoot out back here by the cars, straight into the scare zone. Again, this is still themed to the Jaws 50th celebration, so there's still like some of that up with the Coke signs and stuff. But this is all new here. So this middle stage with all these lighting towers next to it, this is interesting to me, unless they're not making this a scare zone and this is Club Horror, because this, with the lighting system and this one main middle stage, makes it feel very immediately like more of a DJ type setting. We'll just have to see. Again, I would be kind of surprised if they move a scare zone from there. It could, again, we might have seen the other scare zone going up at the end of Crooked Lane, but I think that would have been very weird to have two scare zones back to back, but I don't know. We'll just have to end up seeing what they end up doing. Maybe they fit into each other, almost like you walk into one and walk in the other and they kind of have a similar vibe. That'll be very interesting. And last but not least, over here in New York, we're gonna have Toxic 20s. That is currently my most hyped scare zone, both because I like the Bugs house and I like that it's theming into BuzzCon. I think I love when they do that, when they do it either way, like last year with Major Suites, that used to be a scare zone, then it became a house. I just think it's very fun to have that continuity where it kind of continues to move into each other. Right now, there's not anything out here really. We have one lighting truss and that seems to be it. So don't expect much right now. This is usually, I think, the last one usually to get a lot of its major props up because it's a major parade route. So I don't see a whole lot of things coming out here soon. Again, this is my most anticipated scare zone for the years. I think this will be really cool. I always love the New York scare zone. It's always my favorite. So I'd be very surprised if this doesn't end up being my favorite. And soon enough, along this walkway here, we'll see a lot of food booths going up. I do think it's interesting. The Central Park scare zone is still under refurbishment right now. We don't really know what's going on in there. I don't know if it's anything really big or if they're just redoing some plant work and some concrete work. This won't really affect the scare zone, obviously, so it's not that big of a deal, but it is just interesting that it's not yet to open. I do have one more thing to talk about before I wrap up. That is going to take place over here at these house entrances. Usually there is 3 back here. We're in through the entrance of like Fallon, then 2 back here. And obviously right here is going to be the tribute store for this year. Again, we don't know anything about it, and they're currently nothing up for it yet. So the interesting thing I want to talk about quickly is back here, the normal line for 2 of these houses is through this like parking lot that they end up like fencing off for Halloween Horror Nights to have lines in them. Judging by a bio-reconstruct picture, again, I'm going to hope I can find it, or this will sound really weird. They have torn up that parking lot. It is pure dirt. They're working back there for the new coaster that's going to be going where Rip Ride Rockit is. Again, this closes very soon. Make sure you get a ride in it if you're wanting to ride it. But again, I don't know what they're going to do for lines. Like, I mean, there's some ways they could go around it. But again, if they end up trying to get this new coaster underway, nothing can go under the construction zone. That will all be an active construction zone, so nothing will be allowed below it, so they won't have queue lines and stuff to it. Again, I'm not sure what they're gonna do here. Obviously, if you wanna know more about enhancements coming here to Universal, go check out our newest update video, and again, I'll do one kind of soon, probably towards the ending day of Rip Ride Rockit. Talk about all the new coaster upgrades. We do think it's going to be Ghostbusters over here. Some people think it's Fast and Furious, but I'm pretty positive it's Ghostbusters. All right, well, that does it for this Halloween Horror Nights update video. I'm very excited for this year. I think this sounds so much better than last year. Last year was a bit of a letdown for me. I still had fun with the event, but it was too busy. there was a few things I really didn't like. And I am so glad that the Lake Show is coming back finally, because again, it was one of my favorite parts of that year when we had it. Let me know what you think about this Halloween Horror Nights, what you excited for. And again, we'll be coming back here every week or two to catch up. We'll probably have at least 2 or 3 more updates from Halloween Horror Nights, so stay tuned from us. And again, thanks for watching. I hope this video brought a little bit more joy into your day, and we'll see you guys next time.